Welcome back to Inside the Review Room. My name is Helena. I decided to make a video on this very viral moment that has taken over the world of sports and the internet, the Stephen A. Smith and the LeBron James courtside confrontation, okay? So if you've been anywhere near social media, you've likely seen the clip of the two having a very heated exchange during the Los Angeles Lakers game against the New York Knicks on March 6th. So today we'll break down the backstory, the exchange itself, and Stephen A. Smith's response. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. So if you know sports, you probably know who Stephen A. Smith is. He is a very outspoken ESPN personality and co-host of First Take, who is no stranger to controversy. He's built a career on his strong opinions, especially when it comes to basketball, and recently he's been very vocal about Bronny James, who is LeBron's 20-year-old son, and his early days in the NBA.
You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid.
So in January, Smith publicly questioned whether Bronny, who was drafted by the Lakers, was ready for the league, suggesting that his NBA spot was more due to his famous father than his own merit.
Any attention that he's warranted has been because of his daddy. I want to play with my son. I want to stay here until my son gets to the NBA.
He even went as far as calling for LeBron to step in as a father and prevent Bronny from being thrust into the spotlight too soon, a statement that caught attention of many, including LeBron himself.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad.
Fast forward to March 6th, when the Lakers faced off against the New York Knicks at Crypto.com Arena. Stephen A. Smith was courtside, and it was there that the unexpected confrontation took place. During the game, LeBron James made his way to Smith, apparently frustrated by comments he had heard regarding his son Bronny, basically to keep his son's name out of his mouth. Fans in the arena captured the moment, and the clip quickly went viral, and the internet is talking, so we're going to react to it. I'll show you some clips of Stephen A.'s explanation throughout this video because at the time of this recording, he is the only one to have spoken out about this, so let's get into it. So let's just talk about what actually went down. So in the viral video, it's clear that LeBron is upset and Smith is trying to maintain composure. Doesn't look like he's getting much of a word in. According to Stephen A., LeBron approached him unexpectedly, expressing his displeasure about the comments Smith has made regarding Bronny. So let me refresh your memory on some past comments made.
We know that he's not ready yet. And I'm saying this with compassion to manipulate his son landing in the NBA. That's LeBron. That's not Bronny. That's not USC. That's not the high school he was playing against. That's not some of his contemporaries, Bronny's contemporaries. That is LeBron James. LeBron did that. You know what these numbers mean. You know what it's going to do to your son, to people who are missing out on opportunities, that are busting their tail on other NBA teams in the G League, in Europe, and everywhere else, what kind of opportunity they're starving for. You're exposing your son like this?
On his show, First Take, the next morning, Stephen A. described the exchange, saying that wasn't a basketball player confronting me, that was a father, that was a parent.
That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father.
Smith went on to clarify that he holds no ill will toward LeBron for stepping in to defend his son. He even empathized with LeBron's reaction, stating that as a father, he understood the desire to defend one's child in such a situation.
I respect it as a parent. I'm a father of two daughters. And in all honesty, I couldn't definitively tell you that if I were LeBron James, I would not have done the same thing.
But Smith did express some disappointment in how the confrontation went down, saying that LeBron could have reached out to him privately, saying LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called. He elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside.
He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside.
And LeBron actually approached him mid-game as he left the huddle right before the fourth quarter to confront Stephen A. And it's definitely expressed some online discussion of how unprofessional it was for LeBron to do so publicly, knowing that fans were watching and recording, and that it was an intentional move done by him. After the video went viral, many expected Stephen A. to address the situation, and he did so twice in his non-traditional library voice.
And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say. He confronted me about it. He rolled up on me as a father. That was not a basketball player talking to me. We talk about LeBron James all the time. Practically everybody does. That's not what LeBron James does. So for him to confront me, obviously it was something that he was incredibly passionate about, put off about, and felt necessary to confront me about.
He admitted that he didn't intend to talk about it, but given the attention that the video has garnered, he felt that it was necessary to clarify some things. Smith reiterated that his comments about Bronny were never intended as an attack on him personally, but were aimed at the situation Bronny was placed in, being drafted by the Lakers largely due to LeBron's influence.
My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. Anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad. I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad.
Smith emphasized that the criticisms were directed at the position Bronny was in, not at Bronny himself, but rather directly at LeBron, saying that he has nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James and he hopes he flourishes into an NBA star.
What I would have said if we were in a different environment, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny.
He also stood by his stance that the pressure on Bronny as a rookie and as LeBron's son was overwhelming, which I think we can all agree upon.
Father-son duo playing in an NBA game for first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in. We love what we're seeing from him in the G League because that's where you belong. As you hone your skills and you get better and you legitimately earn, which I believe he has the potential to do. I am rooting for Bronny James. It would be cruel to root against him. He's a wonderful kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But he's LeBron James' son, and everybody knows what attention that brings.
I just think this confrontation goes beyond just a viral video. I think it highlights a larger issue in the world of sports and media, as well as celebrity culture. On one hand, we have a father protecting his child from public scrutiny, while on the other, we have a journalist doing his job by commenting on a high-profile story in the NBA. Did LeBron have anything to do with Bronny's direction and connection and entrance to the NBA? Yes, I think we can all agree. But then again, there are parents who give their kids jobs, but at the end of the day, people are questioning what this could do to someone, as parents can't and shouldn't and won't always be there or able to save you at work. There comes a time and a place where everyone is responsible for the role they're in and or placed in. And I'm really wanting to make this discussion open to the interpretation. I just think it's important with situations like this to be very open and understanding to both sides, just to kind of see where they're both coming from. And it does spark a very valid conversation that we don't actually get to see every day. It's important to note that Stephen A. Smith has never been shy about sharing his opinions, especially when it comes to high-profile players like LeBron James. He's had a long history of being candid about players' legacies, decisions, and performances, and in this case, Smith was critical of LeBron's decision to push for Bronny to play in the NBA so early, feeling it placed unnecessary pressure on him. For context, before Bronny was drafted by the Lakers, LeBron made it clear he wanted to play alongside his son in the NBA and didn't care where he would play as long as he'd be able to play alongside him, which he has made come true. Let's be real, he had a huge part in this. While Smith's comments may have been harsh, they weren't necessarily wrong. Bronny has had a tough start to his NBA career. In 18 appearances, he averaged 25 minutes per game, but hasn't exactly set the league on fire. His numbers in the G League have been stronger, but his overall performance has been underwhelming, fueling more of the criticism. I will say, though, given the position that he was placed in, there is a difference in how Bronny is covered compared to other players in his position, but I don't think Stephen A. has ever really, spoken about Bronny's character, which may have sparked a bit of a different conversation, or at least, a little bit of a different direction, but rather analyzing his performance as a professional athlete and son to a mega NBA star, the face of the league. People have been extremely divided, so I'm going to read over some things that I've been reading online. A lot of people have been criticizing sports media, saying that they can't stress how much damage Skip and Stephen A. have done to sports media, with people replying saying that, regardless of what they say. They have people talking, good or bad. They agree that Stephen A. Smith made some sports media journalists not likable, and they also use their platform to tear rather than uplift.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Some people are saying that Bronny is a professional basketball player and is open to valid criticism and for him to grow up. Also, that they don't think that Bronny should be getting any special treatment. The young man was not ready and his father set him up. Others saying that LeBron should understand the controversy of getting his son drafted to the same team. Others saying that Stephen A. Smith said nothing wrong, but he's just the easiest person to act tough with. Another person saying that we all get a little sideways where our kids are concerned. Stephen A. has the right to criticize and LeBron has the right to call him out. I don't see this as a big deal. It could have been worse. You think it's bad when you call out a man's son, just try calling out a man's daughter. Now, I think it would be very different if LeBron was going after Stephen A. Smith's daughters. I think he has 2 daughters, which have nothing to do with this, right? I mean, it's valid to talk about Bronny in this situation because Bronny is a public figure, you know, he has grown up in the spotlight, and people arguably say that Bronny is a nepo baby and part of a business deal. More people are saying LeBron wanted a father-son storyline and the league handed it to him on a silver platter. Now he's mad people are calling it out. Bronny's a grown man. LeBron shouldn't be speaking up for him. LeBron is doing what a dad would do, but it's embarrassing, and it proves Stephen A. Smith's point. Another person saying, so let me get this straight. It's okay for LeBron to crap on the league and some of its players, but the moment someone tells the truth about Bronny and says he's not ready for the league, he wants to get in his feelings. Get this man-child out of here. I think as a public figure, you're open to criticism and praise. I don't think that there should be one over the other. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone has their own reasons. Some people are feeling bad for Bronny in this situation, saying my heart aches for Bronny James. Poor kid, doesn't belong in the NBA. He can't quit. He didn't ask for this. His dad created an impossible situation for him. He's a Make-A-Wish kid in the NBA. That's crazy. I just hope his dad's insatiable ego doesn't ruin his love for this beautiful game. While others are saying, I get Bron wanting to protect his son, any father would, but Bronny is in the league now, and with this comes scrutiny. Fair or not, he's going to face criticism from the media and the public, just like every other player, and that's just all part of the game. I just think this is a very rare situation. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I mean, Bronny is an NBA star. He's on an international stage, and if someone wants to combat that, saying that the NBA isn't an international stage, I recommend talking to Noah Lyles. I mean, you have players in Asia, you have players in Europe, and everyone dreams of, you know, making it to the NBA. The NBA has more impact, it makes more money, but that's a convo for another day. Again, I just really want to make this open to the interpretation. But at the end of the day, people are going to be very picky. It's LeBron, it's Bronny, it's Stephen A. Smith. They're all public figures. They're all people to talk about.
Stop. Stop. In the history of the NBA. Stop. And then stop they won right 72 games. Stop That's right different. There. Stop right. Stop.
Other people are saying if you got to protect your grown son from criticism and reporters, he shouldn't be in the league.
But you're going to tweet about folks needing to leave your son alone and letting them. You did that. LeBron is entirely and completely culpable for any kind of critique coming in Bronny's direction at this juncture. And it's not wrong. I'm not saying it's a crime. I'm just saying own it. It's you. It's not the media. That's LeBron.
When is Bronny going to find his voice, or is he going to hide behind his dad all his life? A normal father would have let his grown-ass man son defend himself or learn to deal with criticism and play better. Bronny ain't a little boy, and I know this is embarrassing for him as he's a pro now. Another person saying, as a father, yes, as an NBA player that he chose to bring into the league knowing how it was, etc., what are you doing? Did he think it was going to be straight up good things all the time? Does he not know the media at all at this point? Has he heard the things said about him? Isn't he supposed to be the most famous basketball player present day that's currently playing? Doesn't he know that whatever he does and says is being looked at from under a microscope? But that's the thing, as an NBA player, isn't Bronny open to criticism and praise? It's an invitation for both. And the media obviously talks about popular figures, that's why they're talking about this. LeBron is center stage, he's the face of the NBA, so of course people are going to talk about him, and they're going to look at him from a different lens, both on and off the court.
He has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earned, not given, etc., etc. But he also had said that his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA.
And it's a slippery slope because, you know, both are valid perspectives based on how you look at it. Are you looking at it from a professional athlete standpoint or from a father perspective?
I be quiet, but when he leave, I be talking again.
Is it morals or logic, one would argue? Could this have been a private conversation between LeBron and Stephen A? Did he want to set this on a worldwide scale? Or because he's LeBron's son, can there only be one lens and one opinion? Nobody wants to be criticized. We all want to be seen in a positive light, but that's just what you experience when you're thrust into the spotlight.
You know what? I kind of like Charizard. The fire on the tail, the wings, he can fly, the claws on his feet, he could use that as a weapon. He's not as limited as Blastoise or Venusaur.
People on the internet are bringing other people in, like Doc Rivers, saying that he's never come forward when Austin's being criticized, or Del Curry whenever people have things to say about Steph. I mean, I think we're talking about a very rare situation of a father and son duo in the NBA, and so of course people are going to talk about it, you know? Of course people are going to have things to say. People are going to have their own opinions whether or not they're fans of LeBron. Meanwhile, there's more to Stephen A. Smith's story beyond this viral moment. The sports commentator recently signed a massive 5-year contract, $100 million contract extension with ESPN, which will keep him at the network while giving him more freedom to pursue other opportunities, including politics. Smith has been vocal about his political issues in the past and even alluded to the idea of running for president in 2028. However, he's downplayed the rumors, insisting that he enjoys his current life and career. Still, this new contract could allow him to balance both his sports commentary and political aspirations, which will make for an interesting dynamic moving forward. So what do we think about this viral moment? I mean, it's clear that Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James are in the middle of something here, but at the end of the day, this is a clash between two fathers, one defending his son and the other doing his job as a commentator. While it is an intense moment, it's worth noting that Smith holds no ill will toward LeBron or Bronny, and he recognized the emotional nature of the confrontation and respects LeBron as a father. As for the future, it does seem like this incident may have opened the door for more private discussions between the two. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, this confrontation won't be the last time Stephen A. Smith finds himself in the middle of a viral moment. I think LeBron will respond to this. I think he will have something to say. I think Stephen A. will continue to speak about this. I think people will continue to, voice their opinions online. So let me know what you think. I'm genuinely curious. That's why I wanted to leave it open to discussion. I wanted to leave it open to the interpretation. Do you think LeBron was right to confront Stephen A. Smith publicly? Should he have reached out privately? I'm just genuinely curious about what people think about this whole situation. So please drop a comment below. Until next time, this is Inside the Review Room, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Hey, yo, the mirror don't lie. If you want the truth, don't close your eyes.